Hi, Mark here. I trust you're well. Welcome to a recording of a live skills and support session for Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. This was recorded on Monday the 12th of January 2026. And in this session, which was part 1 of 3, we looked at syncing from Lightroom Classic. We looked at all the settings, how we could use Lightroom Classic to share our images. Now, once we finished that part of our session together, we also looked at a plugin, and that plugin was to stop us accidentally deleting images in Lightroom Classic. And then, as normal, we ended our time together with your questions. What are you having challenges in Lightroom and Lightroom Classic? So this was part 1 of 3. In the next session, we are looking at Lightroom and syncing. And the third week, we're going to look at the cloud. How we can use Lightroom away from our computer and our devices and syncing all back to Classic and Lightroom, our smartphones, our tablets, or the rest of the ecosystem. If you'd like to come and join us on these live events so you can ask questions, just visit lightroommark.com, and below the introductory video is the upcoming events. If you look in the menu system, you'll see all our events. And if you've got a problem today you need help with, you don't know where to turn to, and you'd like to book a live one-to-one support session where I can help you with the challenges that you have with Lightroom and Lightroom Classic, whether that's you're in a total mess or you're looking at skills, just hit the support button. I look forward to welcoming you one day on one of our live events, and without any further ado, let's jump across to the recording. Hope to see you soon. Happy editing. Okay, so let's get started. Good evening. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Lovely to see some new faces. My name's Mark. For those who don't know me, I've been helping other photographers now for well over a decade understand Lightroom, Lightroom Classic, and the ecosystem. And I do that in support because I offer it in this format where, unlike Adobe, it's a chat bot type thing, and you get somebody, and somebody's just come along. It's a live interactive, and I can help you by showing you on the screen or taking control of your computer if you wish via Zoom. So each week, or most Mondays, because I'm an academic, I offer this skills and support session. And since COVID, we've tinkered with it, and this year is a new format. The first hour of our time together, or approximately an hour, because it's a conversation. We have a conversation here. It's not me just talking to you. I want you to ask questions as we go through everything. We go through the first hour of a skill. So tonight we're looking at the first part of syncing with Lightroom Classic. That is, how with the architecture that we have in Classic can you share your images either with yourself or other people. And we're only going to look at Classic. Next week, we're going to look at Lightroom and devices. So that's Lightroom Desktop, Lightroom Mobile. And then the third week, we're going to look at the cloud and all of them syncing together. And we'll look at workflow in that one as well. But tonight is just Classic and the architecture of that. So does anybody have any problems, any concerns about syncing with Classic?
I'm
Yeah.
not really sure how it works.
Okay.
I'm terrified of it, actually.
Okay, so Jonathan, you were nodding. Would you like to unmute yourself, please, sir? Can't hear you, Jonathan.
You can add me to the list.
Yes, Heather.
I've
Yes,
just
hello,
used
Jonathan.
Bridge.
Nice to meet you.
I've just used Bridge. I have it installed, but I've never made that step.
Okay, so you're new to the ecosystem of Lightroom? Yep. Okay. So I'll start. I'll answer. I'll do a quick explanation of what Lightroom and Lightroom Classic is before we start. Heather, what have you got problems with?
Well, I've only used the old-fashioned Lightroom, but I had to. I've not been well over after Christmas, so I've been looking up to see how I can use. What was the difference between the cloud
Okay.
Lightroom,
Yeah.
and I understood that, but before then I didn't.
Okay. So let me.
So I'm still finding my way around how
Okay.
how I can use it in my own with my own photograph that I've got.
Okay. So let me see if I can just bring up something.
Also, I got my refund from Amazon.
Well, from Amazon, you got that. That's brilliant.
Yes, because I did that. And do you know there's not much difference between having a link, having the code from Amazon
Hmm.
at the moment. I think it's only about £20 difference.
Yeah, it varies. What do they call it when they as more and more people dynamic pricing?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. As okay, so for people that don't know, Amazon Prime. When there's an Amazon Prime offer, Adobe has historically in the past done up to 70% off, but it changes moment by moment, minute by minute. And what happens is you go to Adobe, Amazon, you buy the product at whatever price for the product that you want. So because there's lots of different products, and they send you a code, and you can then paste that in to your Adobe account, and it extends it on for the year. If you're it's 1 minute past midnight, not many people have signed up. You'll get the best deal, but as the 2 or 3 days, you'll see the price changes. And I've seen it within 24 hours go up £70
Oh,
from the moment it came out, because I send out the email. The moment it comes out, boom, it's out. This is the price, boom. And I go back in a day later. Well, that's £70 error. So that's something to look at.
Yeah.
Please always read the T's and C's. So let's see if I can find what I was just quickly looking for.
So what you're saying, your link could work out cheaper than Amazon's.
Okay, so adobeoffers.co.uk is a link that I
Yeah.
have.
Mm.
And when I see offers, I update the final destination of that.
Right.
Okay. So regularly I come across offers or people tell me or whatever, and I just update the Adobe. Oh, that's cheap. Boom. And I update it. So adobeoffers.co.uk. I'm just going to show you a part of a PowerPoint presentation, and hopefully this will help Jonathan with what Lightroom Classic is. Or Lightroom ecosystem is, but it's also a part of the ecosystem. So okay, so this is just an infomercial in PowerPoint. So we have our camera, and we want to bring our images into a digital asset manager, which is what Lightroom and Lightroom Classic is as a terminology. So we can import our images from our camera into Lightroom Classic. Lightroom Classic is a legacy product. It's been out nearly 20 years. The architecture is old, but it's something as us as human beings, we're a creature of comfort. We get to use particular things, and we like the way they're used, and we understand the methodologies and how we're going to use it. And we don't really want to change. We've got a comfort. Now, it is Bridge, but Bridge is just a digital asset manager as in viewer.
Yep.
Okay, that's all it realistically is. It deals with IPTC data and shows you where the file is and allows you to open that file in a particular application. Well, Lightroom Classic is that component of Bridge, Adobe Bridge. Okay, however, it's got so much more. And unlike using just Photoshop or other editors, it's global. What I mean by global, I've got over 500,000 images in my work catalog. I can find any image and I can apply any form of metadata or editing to any image or multiple images within my whole ecosystem. So I'm not just doing the same thing 20 times to 20 images. That's 20 files. I can do something once and apply it to all those 20 images with a click of a finger. So I import my images into Classic. This is one workflow, and we talk about different workflows and so on. Lightroom Classic talks to the cloud backwards and forwards. What is the cloud? The cloud is, and my understanding, and somebody will correct me one day if I'm wrong, Adobe uses AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, I believe. I've no evidence to believe that or to disagree with that, or
They do.
They do. Thank you. So and the reason why I mind, Adobe is a software company. It's not a hardware company. And the cloud is by permissions, login, username, password, two-factor authentication is a part of a hard drive, and you can have from 20 gig to 100 gig, 1 terabyte, 10 terabytes, and you pay for that amount of storage of your files. I'm really strong with that word of files, okay? Your file is a video, your file is a photograph, not a preview. And I'll explain all that later. That is counted towards your storage. Depending on your camera, the megapixels, but let's say 40 megapixels, you'll get about 2,500 images in 20 gigabytes. But that is files. I've got 500,000 images in my equivalent to you 20 gigabyte. So Lightroom Classic can talk to your little storage, your 20 gigabytes of storage on a computer somewhere in the world. Then we have Lightroom on our mobiles. So we take pictures with our phone. You can use any camera that you wish. There's lots of different camera apps out there. You can tell it to automatically sync with Lightroom. And from your phone, without you doing anything in the background, it will sync all those images to the cloud. When you take a picture with your phone, you are using storage in the cloud because it is a file. Okay? It's a physical DNG or JPEG, whatever format you use, file. So it counts towards your storage. And it two-way syncs from Lightroom on your phone to the cloud and back to Classic, which is what we're looking at tonight, the back to Classic bit. But you have your camera. Your camera, you're out in the big wide world on holiday, you're in Africa on a safari, you can, because there's lots of different workflows. This is my teaching style, my learning style is showing you all the different ways that you can do things. You don't have to do things like this, but you can do things in an environment you want to, and we can talk about that in a second. But from your camera, you can import them into Lightroom because you can only have one Lightroom catalog, Lightroom Classic catalog, syncing to the cloud at any one time. So when you're in the field of photography, you can import your images into Lightroom. That's Lightroom Mobile, Lightroom Desktop, and Lightroom Web. Okay, from your camera. And that syncs to the cloud. which then syncs back to Classic. But then you might have your tablet with you. I'm off to Malta for a month in April. I will have a multitude of devices shooting video, audio, and stills. And I might want to edit them on my laptop or edit them on my tablet. And I can sync them all across the ecosystem and edit them on my tablet via the cloud. They will then all sync back to Classic for me. Classic doesn't need to be turned on. It will do all this in the background. And then when I turn Classic on, it will then sync them. And we'll look at that tonight. But with Classic, and this is why I love Classic, it's a digital asset manager for all types of photography, for all types of photographer. It has virtually every tool that you'll ever need built in from day one. Whether you use that tool is a part of your skill set, your needs, your desires, and your learning curve in what do you want to do and how do you want to do it and the type of photography you want to do. Now, I believe there's only one other piece of software, and I will stand corrected because I learn every single day. Capture One. I think it's Capture One. Classic allows you to take your image into third-party applications. Okay, so like On One, DxO, Nextsoft, Topaz, LR Timelapse allows you to hand off to do a particular functionality, a stylization or a time lapse or HDR, photomatics. A lot of American estate agent photographers use photomatics to do HDR because it's a specialist piece of software. DxO, Silver Effects. Lots of people likes the recipe of Silver Effects for doing black and white. Well, with Classic, you can quite easily right-click, edit in. It will take it to that application, and there's a hook where you just press save in that application, and it brings back the file and puts it next to the original file in Classic. So it's a digital asset manager. And of course, you can do that in Photoshop. Okay. I will go back through that again next week, that slideshow. So that is what the cloud is. All right. Everyone all right with that? Anyone got any questions about that?
I haven't used the cloud up until now because I don't want to pay for it. I just like to have everything on an external hard drive. Is that a mistake?
Are you a subscriber? Do you pay monthly or annually for it, or you've got a really old version of Lightroom?
No, I pay monthly.
Okay, you're already paying for the cloud. You've already got the cloud.
Okay, so I've got like you about 500,000 photos in my catalogue then.
Okay.
So do you keep them all in one catalogue?
Yep.
Deals with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem at all.
Okay.
Now, I'm not expecting anybody to have the setup. So my IT, I replace sections of it every 3 to 4 years. And last year was a big expense. It was a 12-year cycle. So I bought a new desktop, I bought a new laptop, and I bought new storage. And I had a Drobo, which was an attached, it's called a DAS, direct attached storage. And Drobo, or their parent company, went bust. And basically what that does, you can put 5 drives in, and it looks at it as one drive your computer did. And I had 96 terabyte version. But it was an attached. It wasn't network. I didn't have a network one. I didn't want a network one. It was attached, just like a normal external hard drive. But Drobo went bust, and they had a thing called Beyond RAID. RAID is the system that, or technology that allows you to, if a hard drive fails, to back it up, or you can have RAID 6 is 2 drives fail simultaneously, and the data's spread across other drives. And you can set it up for whatever functionality. You can have a RAID 1, I think it's called, or Scratch, where it's just one drive. And if you've got 4 24 terabyte drives, that's 100 terabyte, 96 terabytes as one drive. But if a drive fails, you lose your data. The great thing about Drobo was if you started to fill up your storage, let's say you only bought 2 terabyte drives, 5 of them, 10 terabytes of data, it would reserve, let's say, about 2 terabytes across all the drives. If you run out of storage, you just turn the device off, eject the drive. It was like pushing a button, the old car stereo system. You press the drive ejected, you put a new drive in that's a bigger capacity, and it rebuilt all automatically in the background, depending on how much data you had. It took a few hours or maybe overnight or something, and you got a bigger drive. And it was called Beyond RAID. Absolutely brilliant. Well, they own the rights, the patent to that architecture, that principle, and their parent company's gone bust. And so we've had to go back in technology to what we call RAID 5. And with RAID 5, that's a single drive. If it fails, you can turn your device off, unplug it, put a new drive in, but you have to rebuild the data, which it does. But if you want to expand, as in make your drive bigger, so in my case, I've got 425 terabyte drives, so that's 96 terabytes. I've got about 70 terabytes of storage. If I want to increase that, I have to rebuild the whole thing. So I have to put the data somewhere else. Long story short, I've spent £10,000 this year on new hardware, etc., and so on. But it's what I do for a living. I'm a publisher. I'm an educator. I'm a content creator. I write books and so on. So I wouldn't expect hobbyists and so on to go to the extent that I've got.
So you then put it all in the cloud and bring it back again?
Well, we're going to look at that tonight.
Okay.
So files, we'll start with files and previews. File is the physical raw file. A preview is just what you see on the screen, or you can create what they call a smart preview. A smart preview is a small raw file. Okay, and when you send to the cloud from Classic, you create a small smart preview. It allows you to edit the image anywhere in the world. The edits come back to your catalog, and it allows you to print roughly up to a 10:8 print. Okay. The other reason why we have smart previews is that, let's say you run a laptop, ecosystem of laptop. If you create smart previews of all your images, and all your images are on external drives, which is what I recommend, for ease of backup, for ease of disaster recovery, as disaster as in flood, fire, theft, all that type of thing, you can just unplug the drive literally and you've got all your memories with you. A computer you can replace, a computer you can claim on your insurance, etc. But your memories, the files, very difficult to get insured. A smart preview with a laptop allows you to edit it away from your storage device. I can edit any of my images anywhere in the world, even without a laptop. So in week 3, when we look at cloud and syncing, I'll show you, and the legacy David and Jay and so on, and Heather perhaps, I've shown you how to edit with the web browser. And all those edits come back to your raw files in Classic. And this is the beauty of the cloud. But it's being aware of what you want to do. Okay, so I'm in Classic. I'm running a version, I think it's 15.1. Just check. Yep, 15.1. So it's the latest version. It's running Camera Raw 18.1, which is the latest version. So it's a subscription model. My workflow, and the workflow that I suggest to everybody, is we use collections. And the reason why we use collections is that the collection panel and collections, which are a group of images, are available in every module. Every module is a library module, develop module, map module, book module, slideshow, print, and web. So when you build your projects, if you want to call it a project or a gallery or anything like that, you can see these collections of images in any of the modules. You can also have the same image in multiple collections. A collection's a group of images, okay? The folder structure is literally where the file is stored. Okay, so there's 3 files here, and it mirrors. If I go right click, this is a Mac, it's exactly the same on a PC. By show in Finder, this is an Explorer Finder for a Mac. This, as you can see, 2007. I can expand back to the Finder. I can expand to show you the date and the year, the date. It's exactly the same, and there's the 2 files. And the reason why I show this, always show this one, you can see I've got 3 images here. Okay. All right. And this little turnover is what they call a virtual copy. A virtual copy is an additional image, but it's a line in the database of how I want to use that image. Okay, it could be different editing, it could be a different crop in this case, it could be a different stylization. But if we go to my Finder, you can see there's only 2 files because it's a line in the database. It's a reference back to the image. Okay. And that's one great thing about Classic. It's a digital asset manager. You do not have to have duplicates of the same file for different stylization, for different crops. Okay. You only have 1 file, but it shows it as many times as you like.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Just ask away. Anyone, just ask away.
Thank you. I've recently taken my big catalogue and made it into 3 separate catalogues into decades.
Yep.
And but my collections haven't moved with it.
Yeah.
Is that possible to take my collections over to my new catalogue?
You can export your catalogue. You can. Yes, you can. But I'd keep everything all in one catalogue.
So I'd make it all one catalogue again.
I would. Well, it's down. Okay, first, would you like to share why you made it into 3 catalogues?
Just I've got so many pictures that I mean, I'm trying to decrease them, but
Yep.
I just thought it would be easier if I had like 2010s, 2020, and 2000.
Okay. Can I ask how old your computer is?
My computer's not very old.
Okay.
It's I got it a year ago.
I've got well over 500,000 images. I'm adding every single day. I'm editing every single day. They're all in one storage place. They're all in one. I've got two drives, 2 128 terabyte drives sitting here. One is a total backup of the other one, so if I have a local redundancy. And I also have they're all in the cloud as well, different service, not Amazon, it's Backblaze. So I have 3 copies of them. Classic will handle 1 million images, no problem at all. Okay. I've seen people older than me with well over 1 million images in there. And the thing is, when you're looking for an image, oh, is it in that catalogue? Oh, is it in that catalogue? Oh, where is it? It's all in one place. And when you start using smart collections and using metadata and attributes to find your images, or GPS data, you want to look in the whole place because perhaps you've misfiled it. Oh, it's not where it should be. Well, where is it then? Okay. What camera did I take it with? What shutter speed? You might have pieces of information in your head that you know. Oh, I knew I took that picture. It's in Italy and it was in those date ranges. Ah, well, it's in the wrong catalogue. I've made it. We are the weak link. We make mistakes. The computer will only do what we've asked it to do. If we ask it to do something that's wrong because that's not what we wanted to do, that's our human error.
So there's no way a catalogue would slow down. It's just the computer, isn't it?
It's the computer that slows down. There is workflow that to speed up your images. And there is user interfaces to speed up your workflow. So using a Wacom tablet, using some of these new fancy keyboards that assigning keyboard shortcuts. And if you don't know, if you go to help and come down, I'm sure under window help.
There's another argument for one catalog, and that is your smart search.
Yeah.
You may want to search on an attribute of a photograph that goes across the 3 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have it in one catalog, you can.
And when we get to the cloud, we'll look at AI searching. You can type the word red car, and without any metadata, it will bring back all the pictures of red cars.
Yeah.
You can only have one catalog in the cloud.
Okay.
You can turn around and say waterfall. The AI in the cloud will identify all your pictures of waterfalls and bring them all back. You only even need to keyword or metadate them or tag them, and we'll look at all that in week 3 about the cloud.
Okay.
Okay. So keyboard shortcuts. If you go to help and down the bottom is keyboard shortcut list, and each panel is different because there's different keyboard shortcuts. Learn your keyboard shortcuts. That will speed up your workflow. P for pick, X for reject.
I've got one of these. You see this? Oh, whoops. Where's my camera?
Oh,
Oh my God. Can you see it?
yeah, got a keyboardy type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's quite helpful.
yeah. It's just so I first thing I get up in the morning, Classic is on. I'm in my office here, Classic is on. It's on all day, every single day. I'm constantly in there, and there was an academic studies, 10 minutes every day. It's called. If you do something 10 minutes every day, we call it practice make perfect. I don't think there's such thing called perfect, but if you keep practicing doing something every day, you get better and better and better at it. One of the things about it is you remember what you were doing. So there's a lady that's not here tonight. She bit the bullet and she followed what I did, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted how quickly that she has grasped what Classic is. Because she leaves it on her laptop all day long. She gets up and she does 10 or 15 minutes work of it. Then she goes off and does the ironing. She does the school run. She does this. She does that, and comes back and does a little bit more, and then goes off and does this and goes. And by the end, and because she does it in very small 5, 10, 15-minute chunks. By the end of the week, it's amazing. Oh, she spent 6 hours over the whole week. Doesn't realize that she spent 6 hours, and she's edited 1,000 pictures, and she's metadated 2,000, and she's picked and rejected 20,000. And oh my God, I'm going to get all this done by the end of the year because she does it a little time. But anyway, let's carry on. So folders are what hold your files. That is really important. Okay, the concept of folders are where your images, your files are kept. Collections are, it's a link back to, it's a preview, which is what you see on the screen in every module apart from the develop module. Okay. It's a link back to this collection here of birds. It's called birds, but it's got trains in it for some reason. And this is a link. If I go right click, show in library, there it is in the folder structure. There it is there in that image there. Okay. When it's grayed out, this gray color here, that's called the active image. Okay. I can go right click, show in collection. Now, Minehead Station, it's in that collection down here. So you can see it's in that collection here, and it's in that collection here. So that one image is in two spaces, two groups of images. Okay, you went on holiday. There's some pictures you want to share with your partner, your husband, wife, some that you want to share with your family, some that you want to share with your work colleagues, for example, of where you were going. Okay, but there's some that you don't want to share. That's why you could have 3 collections. Perhaps you enter photo club competitions. And those are your favorite images of your Safari. And that's something I do suggest that everyone does, is you have there's 2 permanent collections. One is your favorite photography images in a collection, the most images you're proud of. And the reason why you have that is that you can judge very, very quickly with one click your best images. And you can judge yourself how better you're getting as a photographer over the years, months, weeks, decades, and how your photography has changed. And it's very easy. You can just press the letter B or right click, add to a collection, whatever. And the other collection I recommend everyone to have is an emotional catalogue. Those images that mean the most to you. Because when you have those sad moments, those moments that you feel really depressed and down, you can go one click and put a smile back on your face. And I recommend that to everyone. Okay. So a collection, all it is a group of images. There are other collections, smart collections on. These are just group of images that have been put together. Okay. All right. That's collections and folders. Now, the important thing regarding syncing, we have to nominate or set up the folder that the files are going to sync to within Classic. How do we do that? Well, we can come up to the cloud, top right-hand corner, click on the cog, and that will go to Preferences, Lightroom Sync. Another way we can do it, we can go up to Classic, Preferences, and click on Lightroom Sync. And this is the important bit, and we have to do this first. Where are your files? Files going to be kept from the cloud or to and from the cloud. Files. Okay. And we can choose on the Finder, take this location here, and it will appear in your folder structure. Now, what we can also do is if we store our files, videos and still images by date, which is how I recommend. Reason why is it's a unique identifier. It's a unique identifier for us, but it's also a unique identifier for the software. What does that mean? We all knew roughly what we did on a particular day. We went to Italy, to Venice, on that cruise, whenever it was. We are customized, we are trained. Most people go to work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. Oh, when did we go to such and such? You ask yourself the question, or you ask it out loud of your family. When did we go to such and such? If you put all your images in date folders, you can go one click inside, and I don't recommend outside Classic. Everything's got to be done inside Classic. But you can immediately find those images that you took. When you look at a photograph, do you actually say, that was taken with an iPhone? That was taken with this camera. That was taken with this lens. That was taken with this. No, you don't. Those questions are surplus to requirements. Does it matter what you take it with? No. But you went to Venice and you want that photograph of Venice or of the safari or of the day in London or that birthday party or wedding you went to. You took a couple with your camera, you took some with your phone, you did a little video with this camera or with your phone. You bring them all together because they were shot on that day. That's why I suggest that we put things into date order. And you can preserve the same date format, okay, whatever date format you want to use in this cloud folder.
Is there a reason for using that format that you use in particular?
I have my personal reason. Yes, I have a personal reason. I'll explain it. And it's a technology reason. I'm sorry, it's very, very dry. Let's take telephone numbers. We as a human being in the Western Hemisphere work from the left to the right.
Yeah.
What number does all telephone numbers, or 99.9999999% of numbers start with?
0.
Right. So when you're starting to search for a number, You've got to start with 0. Everyone is 0. So that means you've got all your numbers to start looking for. But yeah, bear in mind, I'm a computer at the moment. And then what's the next digit? Most numbers start with
7.
7 for a mobile, 1 for a landline, 8 for a special number, 9 for premium rate. So we can get rid of perhaps, if it's a landline we're looking for, we can get rid of 10%, maybe 20% of the numbers. And then we get to the third digit. And it's 019. So we've got rid of another 10 or 20% of our numbers in our database and our contacts. But if we start from the right-hand side and say, what's the last number in our phone numbers? Let's say it's a 9. What have we now just done? We've got rid of 90% of the other numbers because it's not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we then go to the next number from the right, the second number from the right, and it's a 1. So we can now get rid of all the 90% of the 10% of the numbers that are left. So it's a very quick way for computers to discard the information that's not relevant to the question. And the question is, what date did I take the photograph? So by putting the year first, then the month and the date, because computers work from right to left in this sequential service, working things out, it gets rid of the information quicker. So I have trained my brain to work in that format.
So that's better than using a slash.
Well, slash is lower directory. So photography, LRC, training, cloud. The // they're folders within folders. So if I go change, and if I go to picture, photography, LRC, training, you can see I'm going down a structure. I'm going down, I'm drilling down. And this is what the slash does. This is the representation. If you wrote it out on a piece of paper, this is how it would look. So I then go training, then cloud, and this is this space that's up here.
Okay.
And that's the way it's written. This is the visual side of it. And then the date, I write the date like that because my brain is now, bearing in mind I've been doing this nearly 20 years, that's how the computer works. I've trained my brain to work like that.
Okay.
So the most important thing to start with before you start doing anything in the cloud is get this set up. Where are your files that are in the cloud that you're going to share backwards and forwards from Classic to the cloud? And that's what you do. You point them here. Okay. And they'll appear. There it is here. Okay. Cloud. And there's the one folder that's in there. And any images that go in there, files, talking about files, will go there. So if I want to put a file, this file here, if I want to put it into the cloud, okay, so I'm just going to expand the date. It should be that one. There it is. I can just drag it and drop it there. I'm going to move it to the cloud, and that's now going to sync to the cloud. The file. This is 1.8 megabytes. This is a stock image that I have a license to use for training, etc. And this will sync to the cloud and appear on all my devices. Okay.
It's still on your external hard drive, what you use?
This is on this particular drive here locally, but it shares it to the cloud. Okay, because the way
however, if you delete it from one of your devices, it'll get deleted from the catalog.
Because it's in the cloud. This is sitting on that drive in Amazon services. Okay, and if I press delete now,
yeah,
it will delete it off my devices. It will delete it in the cloud, and it will delete it locally.
Good.
Okay,
So it would no longer be on your external device.
Correct. Totally correct. So I'll move that back and I'll put that back there, and it's now going to move it from the cloud and put it back onto my external drive. Okay, so that's the important thing. Okay, is setting up that, and that is for your files. So when you take a photograph with your phone, they'll go up into the cloud and they will appear in this location, and we'll look at that next week. Okay, so how do I get things from Classic to the cloud, and what can I do with them? Well, let's minimize this lot. Okay, so I've got, this is called a collection set. It's a little box type icon, and that's a collection set, and you can have collection sets within collection sets, and it's a way of making it neat and tidy, right? And we can create collections and smart collections within collection sets, or we can have them on their own. Okay, a smart collection is where we ask a question. So try and find this or find that or do this or do that or whatever. A collection is a manual way of grouping images together. And you can just drag and drop images. So there's 2 images here of sunrise at Minehead. You know, we've got here's 8 images of birds. And what I could do is I could create a collection. So let's go to cloud, go plus, create a collection, and 2026 01 12. Okay, and I'm going to put it into this collection set called cloud, and I'm going to sync it, this collection, with Lightroom, with the cloud. So I press tick, and there it is here. And you can see I've got a little squiggle down by the side of the collection, and that's telling me it's in the cloud. Okay, I've sent that to the cloud, and I can go right click and I can make this a public collection. I can view this on the web. At the moment, this is a private collection. What's a private collection? It's in the cloud, but only you can see it. You can see it on your devices logged into the same account. So there's your account here, logged in here. It's also in your Adobe management up here, your account. You're logged into that with your other devices, and you'll see that on your tablet, your iPhone, and your web browser. Next week, we'll look at phones, Lightroom, tablets, and the week after, we'll look at the cloud. So that is for me at this moment in this part of this workflow, in this moment of time. That collection, which has no images in there, is for me. But I want to put some images in there. So I can say this image here, this image here, this image here. Just drag them, drop them there, and they will now sync to the cloud. Okay, we'll give them a few seconds and they'll start populating to the cloud. Okay. Now, that's just for me. They'll pop up on my devices. Straightforward. Okay. But perhaps I want to share them with somebody. And there are different ways, depending on your operating system, depending on your application you're using, how and why and the functionality of sharing. But the easiest way in this case is top right hand corner in this collection, make public. And it's now made that a public collection. Anyone with this link, go right click, copy the link. We can share it publicly. That could be in WhatsApp, that could be in Messenger, that could be on an email, that could be on Facebook, that can be well, however you want to share it. And anybody with that link will see the images, and there they are. And there it is on a web browser. Okay. And that's a public collection. To make it private, you can just hit that and you'll no longer that link. Let me go back to, refresh. It's a private. Nobody else can see it. All I've done is I've refreshed the page. Okay. How else you can do that is go right click, Lightroom links, and we can change it here. And if I make it public again, it'll be the same link. We can go right click again, view on web, copy, just a different way of doing it. Okay. So we're sharing at the moment. This is public. Anyone can see these. You can click on them. You can give them permissions. We'll look at this next week and the week after. You can give them permissions to download it if you wish. And we can manage all this, and we can have it black, or we can have it white. We can have it displaying information, not displaying information, but we'll look at all that next week. The Classic will only allow you to send images. You cannot send from Classic to Lightroom and the cloud videos. You can take a video with your phone. It can sync and come back to here. This location in folders, you'll see it appear here. But you cannot drag a video into here and upload it. Okay? The architecture for Lightroom Classic was not designed for video. What we do with the smartphone today, compared to 20 years ago, 19 years ago, whatever, wasn't even dreamed of. I went to a web browser and typed in red car and it would come back with a red car. Yeah, that was not even conceived that we could do that with our smartphones, with our web browsers back then. Okay. That is how and what you can do with sharing your images from Classic to the cloud. So it's quite restrictive. Now, there are plugins that allow you to do additional things. So, for example, you cannot share out of the box smart collections. What is a smart collection? If you don't know, smart collection is when we ask a question or multiple questions, or so give you a scenario. Show me all the pictures that I've taken in the last week and show me all the ones that I've picked in the last week. And then the third question would be, if you've got GPS, show me all of them that were taken in London. You might have taken 3,000 pictures last week, but there's only 11 that fit that criteria. And it will immediately show you that answer wherever they are stored in your catalogue. And that's why we put all our images in one catalogue. That's what a smart collection is. But you can be really precise. You can say, this particular camera with this lens, this shutter speed, this aperture, did I keyword it? Where was I? And rather than looking for it, you can keep these smart collections in a collection set and just go click. Or out of the box, standard, you cannot sync smart collections to the cloud. Okay? What you would do, the traditional way is you ask the question via a smart collection, you then copy all the images, put it in a collection, and you share that. There is a plugin that I showed a few weeks ago that actually will run it all in the background and do it all for you, which is really nice. So that is sharing from Classic. Let me give you a few prompts. When you take a picture with your phone, click, that's a file. That counts towards your storage. When you take a video and import it into Lightroom and upload it to the cloud, that counts to your storage. About 20 gigabytes will give you roughly, for the average camera today, about 2,500 images for about 40 megapixel camera. Okay. But when you create a collection, you're creating what they call a smart preview, which is a small raw file. That when you sync from Classic to the cloud, so to your devices, sharing from Classic, they are previews, they're smart previews. They are not counted towards your storage. So with a little bit of a workflow, once you've repeated it a few times, it's second nature. You can take loads of pictures with your phone. You can take pictures in the field of photography with your cameras, sync them all to the cloud, download them all, move them out of the cloud, then put them in a collection, upload them back to the cloud, and they don't take any of your storage. You can edit them, you can share them, you can print them anywhere in the world. And that's how I've got 490 something thousand last look images in the cloud that I can edit and share and print anywhere. And the computers aren't turned on. I don't even need to have my mobile phone with me. I can walk into a hotel in the middle of India, for example, with nothing on me. Just log into my account via a web browser and I can access any of those images and share them and edit them.
And that's the cloud with your subscription is enough doing it that way for you to have all your pictures in.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But Classic sends a preview, it's a smart preview. The other thing with the smart preview, as I was saying earlier, if you've got you're in a laptop environment and you've got everything on an external drive, you create all your images as smart preview, and that can take a lot of storage. In my case, it's about 2 terabytes. But I've got all my images wherever I am on my laptop. So wherever I go with that, I've got all my images. 30 years worth of photographs, all on there.
Wow.
And I can edit them anywhere and share them. So if a client goes to me, Mark, you took a photograph for us 15 years ago, I've got it on there wherever I am.
Brilliant.
Because that's smart previews, but you can only do it with one catalogue. Now, if they wanted a 30-foot print from it, that would be challenging. But you could use super resolution or something like that to make a bigger print and stick it in the post them, or say, I'm terribly sorry, I'm away on an assignment at the moment. I want back for 2 weeks. Is that okay? But there's other workflows that you can do, etc., which I have. So all my client images that I've supplied to my clients are all on another service that I can access. So that's what Lightroom Classic does, the interface and what you can do. You can share smart previews. You can bring images down. They'll appear in the structure where you put them. You move them. You can delete them from the cloud. And you can resync them back to Classic using a collection and have them access them. Okay.
Oh, will we get a recording of this so I can? Good, thank you. Brilliant.
Has anyone got any questions about that?
You were talking about video, or rather, it not doing video. If you
Sorry, David.
When you were saying that you can't sync video, if you turn the video into a series of stills, will it then be able to sync?
Classic, the architecture, the machine code and everything behind it is 20 years old. Videos, what we have today, it was high-end Disney, MGM films, and so on. Those were videos. You know, we were walking around with shopping carts of video recorders and this massive everything. Like, it wasn't digitization of videos. It wasn't even dreamed of. If you take a screenshot or you take a frame out of a video, that's a still image. And yes, you can sync still images. You can still send video to the cloud, but not from Classic. So the architecture of Classic does not sync video from Classic. We'll receive it, but you can't send it. If you want to put a video into your cloud storage with Adobe, we'll do that next week. It's not a problem. You use Lightroom to do that, or we'll use a web browser to do that. But you can't upload out of the box what Classic comes as standard. You can't upload a video in a collection to the cloud.
But you can import videos from your hard disk into
Correct.
Classic.
Yeah.
However, to your statement about it not being handled, my old videos that were taken with my camera in like 2001 and 2002, Classic today can't handle them. Often, if you try to click on them, they won't show. So, you know, they're there, but Classic can't really deal with them.
Yes. So this is where workflow of video becomes involved. It's a digital asset manager. Yes, it will play video, but it's a lot about what hardware you've got, what's the file format, etc.
Right.
But yes, you are right. There are limitations with Classic and video, but as a general statement, it manages it. It's not a video editor. It does a little bit of video editing. You can trim it. You can do bits. Lightroom, which is the newer version of how we digital asset manager, is a video editor to the point of trimming and rotating and cropping and so on, etc. It's not necessarily colorization and things like that, but there's lots of functionality you can do with it. That's where Premiere comes in. So Adobe Premiere on mobile is free if you've got an Adobe account. So you can do a lot of editing in video and so on. And it all syncs together. Everything syncs together. That's the great thing about the cloud. So are you aware that there's a product called Express? There was Photoshop Express. Don't get confused. That got made redundant, or what's the word? They retired it several years ago, and they've brought back the word Express. Express.adobe.com, and it's basically Canva. But the great thing about it is you can put an image from Classic into your cloud and access it in Express or a video, and you can trim it, edit it, crop it, rotate it, put some infomercials, banners on it, do whatever you want to do, add other assets to it, add some music to it. I do a lot for my academic. I do what they call photo films, or that's my terminology, where I ask my audience to close their eyes and listen to audio of a still image. And that's all done in Express, but I manage it from Lightroom. Same with my InDesign. InDesign does my laying out my books and zines and publications, but the images come from Classic into a folder within the InDesign project. So has anybody got any questions about Classic syncing?
Can I ask, it might be slightly irrelevant, I'm not exactly sure, but I've got 3 backup disks, all with the same thing. Can I sync those using the cloud if I delete images, or no?
Okay, what are you trying to achieve?
Well, I've on my main drive, I use all the time. I'm trying to reduce the number of photos I've got.
Yep.
So I've deleted lots, but they're still on the other 2 hard drives.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back to backup in the
That is a
Q&A at the
backup
end
question.
of the
I just wondered if you could use the cloud to do it. No,
No.
okay. Right, thank you.
So there are different services regarding cloud for different functionality and different price points.
Okay.
Okay. So I would, whilst you can back up in OneDrive, in Dropbox, and Adobe Cloud, it's very expensive.
Mm.
Okay. Very, very expensive. There are cheaper options or more flexible options. So has anybody any questions about what we've done tonight? Classic allows you to create a collection, sync it to the cloud, to your devices. We'll look at devices next week. You can share it publicly. Or it's private for yourself. Okay? Everyone all right with that?
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to move on to the second section of the night, and I'm going to show you a plugin. And one of the things that I think Lightroom and Lightroom Classic is missing is a padlock. A padlock for your assets. So you do not accidentally delete your assets. Now there's two terminologies. There's remove and delete. Remove is when you remove something from a collection. Okay. In the folder structure, it's the only place you can delete things, which is one reason why I promote using collections in your workflow. Reason why is we're all human, as I said earlier, we make mistakes. If we hit the delete button, press OK and go, oh my God, I've just deleted it. If you're working in collections, you've only removed it from the collection. The file is still in the folder structure. Okay? So it's a safety net. It's a, I'm sitting there going, all right, delete that. No, I'll select all those, delete, boom. If you do that in folders, you've deleted them. And if they're over a certain file size, you've deleted them permanently. They haven't gone in the recycle bin. They've gone. Bye-bye. Okay. So I think Lightroom has missed a little trick, Lightroom and Lightroom Classic, to offer this safety net. And that's my workaround was always working in collections. Because if you make that mistake, you're only removing them from the collection. And then once a year or so, I will then go through the images and then remove them, delete them from my folder structure. Okay. However, I found a plugin, which I think is really good. Another reason why I love Lightroom Classic. Adobe has allowed third-party restricted access to the user interface and functionality. And that is done by the plugin manager. So we come down to File, Plugin Manager. And this is the plugin we're going to look at. It's called PhotoSafe. And third parties make little attachments, little plugins that run inside Lightroom Classic for our functionality. So there's one for Flickr here, there's a Cache Manager, there's Adobe Stock. This is the Smart Lightroom, Smart Collection Lightroom Sync that I was just talking about a little bit earlier. But if you have a need for something and Lightroom Classic doesn't do it outside the box, then possibly somebody else has had that need as well. And there is, if you go to exchange.adobe.com, this is the Exchange website of all the plugins for all the applications that Adobe have countersigned, if you want to say, like the App Store for our phones. Okay, and you can download them. There are other websites, Lightroom plugins. So let's come down. Let's see if I can find one that I know of. There we go, lightroomplugins.com. There's some plugins there. Okay, backup cleaner. Don't need that now because Lightroom Classic has got a backup cleaner. Duplicate finder. I've actually got that one. Soft proofing. We don't need that anymore, this third-party plugin, because this is a soft proofer and a newer version. Cache manager. That was the one it was on the screen in front of you. I've got this one. Cleans out your temporary cache. So there's lots of plugins out there that third parties have written for Classic. And it's just finding the ones that suit us. But we might subscribe to a service, let's have a look here, called Copy Track. I think it's, there we go, Copy Track. I subscribe to Copy Track. Copy Track it creates a collection in published services, and you can have different collections, a multitude of collections. And what they're doing is a backward search engine. They're a legal company and so on, etc., where you upload your images in published services down here, and they're constantly scanning the web for you. And if they find an image, your image somewhere on a website, they ask you to look at it and say, have you sold it to them or whatever and so on. And they will contact them and say, hey, where's your license for this image? Are you using it and so on? And this is done by a plugin. And this guy, Jeffrey, has done a plugin called PhotoSafe. And I've installed it here. This is a reason a lot of these computer programs are photographers or but their day job is computer programming, and they've written this plugin. And he found this need and so on. And it's a one-time donation. Some of them have different pricing structure where it might be £3-4 each year, and you get all the updates and things like that. So the cache manager, this cache manager here, I think it's about £5 to buy. I have it in my main catalogue, £5 to buy, and then it's about £3 a year, and you get all the updates. It will still work if you don't renew, but you don't get the updates. So as Adobe updates, you don't get the updates. Well, PhotoSafe, what he does is it's a one-time donation. I sent him £10, which was $12. And I have my license key for this. Okay, so what does it do? Okay, so if I go to Publish Services here, I have this plugin, PhotoSafe here. And I can create a collection, or I can just put them all in one place if I wish, all my images. But I can go right click and I can create a collection. So my collection for today is going to be today's date. And I've created collection. That's all I have to do. And what I could do is go right click and set it as a target collection. So there's a little plus there. And I could go back to my images. And if I press backspace, that would remove this from this collection. But if I did that in a finder, so there it is there. If I press backspace now, that would delete the image. I would lose the image. But if I press B, that adds it to the target collection that I just created. So we go back to Publish Services. And there is the image in the Publish Services. Now, the way this plugin works, because of the limitations of access to Lightroom Classic that Adobe gives these developers, you have to publish this image. It doesn't go anywhere. You just have to go through that functionality. Now, if I go back to this image, there it is there, and I go to press delete, it won't let me delete it. So if that image was in a group, oh, I don't want any of these, but this image here was in that, and I press delete, it would pop up and say, can't delete it. So it's like having this little padlock on all your images, or on the images that you put in here. And you can create several collections, or however you want to do it. Just put them all in one collection. And you publish the collection, and that puts this padlock on the image that you can't delete it without removing it. I've now hit the delete button. It's now going to remove from this collection and now publish. Now I've taken that padlock off. I can now delete the image. So all my best and my best and my best and my best that I've shared with agencies, and they're on with clients and so on, they've all gone in there. And you go publish, and they can't be deleted, so I never lose them. I put those two back in there, and I hit publish. I can't delete them. I can't accidentally delete the files, which is brilliant. Now you can automate this, which is great. So if you go on the banner where it's the name is of the public, edit settings, you come down, automatically publish unprotected safe photographs. Okay, so you can click there, and every few seconds or few minutes you can say here we go, enable background sweep. So you can say every 5 minutes, look in this plugin, and if I change that to, let's say I change that to a minute. Okay, there you go. See, it's just that it's automatically done it. It's published them for me. So if I now go and find another image, let's go show here. Let's put this one in, go B. Now I go, right, so there it is there. We just wait a minute. I could manually hit publish. At the moment, I could delete this image. But in a minute, that will put that in the publish services in the background. I can't delete it until I remove it from here. And I thought that was a brilliant little app. Cost me £10, $12, supporting him and his family. He lives in, English gentleman, lives in Japan or wherever it is. And it solved the problem.
So I have a question of how that works. Yeah. If you click in a collection set, do a B, so it went into the published set from a collection set, it does protect the folder. The
image only, best of my knowledge.
So if you went to your folder, you still could delete in the folder.
Nope.
So even though you put it in from the collection set, let's say it was a virtual copy. If you put a virtual copy in to the protection, but then you went to the folder, could you delete the original?
Nope. If it's in, so B is that's ease of workflow. It's a target collection.
Right. But the fact that it was a virtual copy coming from a collection doesn't matter. The original is still protected.
Not my current usage of it. I've not had any problem. I've got virtual copies in mine and so on. I haven't been able to delete any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll stand. I don't know everything. Right. I say that every week, don't I? I learn every day. But yeah, I've not had a problem with it now.
And that's not really adding any additional significant space to
No, it's not adding any space at all. Not adding any space at all. So there we go. I haven't done anything. There is the published service collection, and it's automatically put that. I didn't hit anything, didn't do anything. It's automatically put that into a minute later into that. So you just drag in the image into one of your collections in that plugin, leave it running, every minute, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, whatever you want to do, it'll automatically publish it. And that's what puts the padlock on it. Now you can't delete it. And I thought that was a brilliant little plugin. But it solved a problem that Oh my God, my favorite blooming image or my client's image, I've accidentally deleted it and I've realized 3 months later. Now, in my workflow, I've got backups of them. It's not a problem. But it's created work for me to go and get it from the backup. Yeah. By
So when you
doing this at point of edit, capture, sharing it with my client, sharing it on my website and so on, putting in that published services, it'll never happen to me again. Or that's the theory of it. In the chat, I've put the link to the plugin. You'll get if you want to download it and install it, you get the full version, I believe, for about 6 weeks. After that, it'll only protect one image at one time or something like that. It goes into restrictive access mode. But you just send him a donation via PayPal, and the transaction code is your registration number. You just paste it in there on the page, and that's it. And you can put 50,000 images in there, 5,000 images, 10 images in there, whatever you want, and it'll protect them all at once. So there we go. It's not an affiliate link. I have no connection with him whatsoever. I'm a customer. But I just find these little things that are handy, and that's why I share them now with you. Anyone, any questions about that? No? Right, well, over to your questions. What do you need help with? Sue, you were talking about backup.
I've lost myself. Sorry, I was looking at that. I can't see anybody or anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, see you.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Oh, yeah, backups. Yeah, I was just wondering if I could use the sync to
Okay.
sync my, but I need some different sort of software to do that, don't I?
Well, there's no right or wrong way to do things.
Okay.
There is in technology. There's principles, and they say you should have 3 sets of your data.
Yeah.
In 2 different locations. So I will just tell you from my experience. I have my local working data.
Yeah.
And that's on one of my 90, whatever it is, 6 terabyte. I use OWC, Other World Computing it's called. And I've got a FlexBay 8, which the unit costs about £1,000, and then the drives cost about another £1,000. And then because I have so much data, so many images, I have a local copy of that drive. So I have a Thunderbay 8 drive next to it. Okay. And it's basically the same device, but without some user interfaces and so on. So, and I use some software called GoodSync, which costs,
GoodSync.
Yeah, it costs about £20 a year. MSP.im. I'll put the link in the chat for you.
I think I've got it. I just don't know how to use it.
Okay, so what GoodSync allows you to do is you can take any location anywhere in the world and copy it. So you could take it from your hard drive and upload it to a server. You can take it from your Dropbox or Backblaze or whatever and bring it down to a local machine. And I've got several different, they're called jobs, and it just runs it and it says, takes all this data here and sync it here. Take all that data and sync it there. Got about 10 jobs. And what it does, it backs it all up. So it looks at any incremental changes and just makes those changes and puts them in another place. So I've got my Thunderbay Flex 8 machine that sits like that, and then it copies it. And I'm going to go that way because the machine's like that. It copies everything on here and copies it to here, and they're daisy chained together. Now, the reason why that is, I've got so much data, so much videos, so much data, that if a drive fails, I can immediately, like that, go to another machine, go to another drive, continue working on that file or on that workflow or that project or whatever, whilst I am resolving the data problem that I've got on my working drive. Okay? Because time is money to me, especially academics, and you know, I'm always working on projects, and deadlines are always coming up, and it's always the most inconvenient moment in the world that your drive fails, and drives will fail. It's not if, it's a when. Just like your brakes on your car will wear out, at some point they will wear out. And even if you don't drive your car, you'll still have to have your brakes serviced because they may seize. Yeah, same with hard drives. If you're using an SSD, you get thermal use, which is the read write, the heat, they burn out. If you have mechanical drives, which are much better for storing data, you get the physical use of spinning around and around and around, like records, and you get wear and tear, etc. The average drive, good quality drive, lasts about 5 years. So I've got my working copy and or my working data and a local copy. You can go and buy 2 Western Digital drives and have one as your working drive and one as a backup. You can go and buy a Ugreen. That's a company. Synology is another company. They'll provide you a box for £300, £400, £500, £700. You put your drives in, it does it all for you. You have a couple of drives, you put it in, it looks like it's one drive and it'll do it all for you. But you've got a local copy. Then I use, and a lot of photographers use, Backblaze.
That's a cloud service.
That's a cloud storage. Oops, did that wrong. I'll put a link in the chat for you.
So what does GoodSync do then?
GoodSync is the software that actually locally or anywhere copies your data. And the great thing about GoodSync is it allows you to take anything from anywhere to anywhere. So, for example, my local drive from my fast editing drive, I copy it to my OneDrive because it's got projects that I'm working on this moment in time. That could be a PowerPoint presentation. That could be an InDesign publication. That could be something that I'm writing on a journal that I'm sharing with a colleague. And I want that in my academic OneDrive.
So can it work in reverse? Can it take things off?
Yes.
It
does anything. It goes left, right, right, left, synchronizes.
That's my worry, that I send it in the wrong direction. So
so it goes from the left to the right.
Okay.
Or you can say left and right, synchronize, make a copy so they're identical. And here's the good bit: you can hit auto and say every 90 seconds compare, every 4 hours compare, every day compare. And it will compare, and you can just do, and they call it analyze. You can just analyze, or you can do analyze and sync. And that means it's constantly doing it. And it's constantly backing up your data between from a location to a location. That location could be a service, it could be a web platform, it could be AWS, it could be a local drive. And that's what I like about GoodSync. It's totally flexible for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can, and as my needs change, I can change with the software. And I can even send all my files, not just put them in the cloud, but I can send them direct to my phone. From the computer direct to the phone or my tablet.
Using GoodSync.
Using GoodSync. Rather than using Apple Share and sitting, it does it all in the background for me.
Gosh.
And it's Mac and PC.
Right.
And that's one of my criteria of any software that I use. Is it cross-platform?
Okay.
That's another thing with Classic. If you don't know, if you move from PC to Mac, your catalog will work.
Right. That's good to know.
If you move from Mac to PC, it'll work.
Mm.
And that's it's another one of my criteria. Is it cross-platform? Is it iOS? Is it Android? Is it PC? Is it Mac? Is it Google Chrome? Is it this? Is it that? That's one of my staple questions that I ask. And GoodSync is. Now, what Backblaze is, it's around about $6, $7 a month. You can do a year plan. You can do 3-year plan. There are lots of services with GoodSync. Be really careful because you might say, oh, that's a lot of money. Well, why are you buying that? It's the personal plan. The personal plan is around £4 or £5 a month. So you can get it cheaper, wait for Black Friday, all those type of things and so on. And there are so many photographers that use it. And the reason why we use Backblaze, there is no what they call throttling back. The easy way to describe that, you put your foot on a hose pipe and the water dribbles out. And across the internet, that's what servers and internet service providers do. Now, sometimes it's a benefit. So, for example, the iPlayer, and I'm just giving this as an example, as in the idea, the concept. It might not be exactly right with the principle of what they do, but if you're viewing a film on the BBC iPlayer using an iPad, you don't need the 4K video. You're viewing it on a small iPad, so they throttle back the connection. You don't need all that data, all that information. But when you're watching on a 60-inch 4K ultra high definition TV, you do need it, so they give you more data. And that's how they do it, by throttling back. And I'm just trying to explain the principle of throttling back. A lot of services, Backblaze, OneDrive, Adobe Cloud, will throttle you back because of the strain on their servers. Bankings now, newspapers is another one. Newspapers are classic for doing that. Yeah, they'll throttle back. More and more people watch it or view it or read it. They'll slow down the connection. Backblaze do not throttle back the upload or download of the files. Okay, they want to get your data as quick as possible. So there's no throttling. You can manually slow your connection down in the app that's running all the time. Why would you do that? Well, perhaps you're on a slow connection and you've got other people that want to watch Netflix and so on. So rather than you have what they call hogging the bandwidth, that's all your connection, you can say, oh, well, I've got a 20 meg upload or I've got a 100 meg upload, but I actually only upload at 10 meg because I want to be fair to the rest of the household. And you can do it in the app. There's a time where you can say, right, from midnight till 6 a.m., everyone's asleep, upload as fast as I can. And then outside that time, upload at 2 megabytes or 10 megabytes or whatever and so on. So I use Backblaze, personal plan. It's only for attached storage. That means plugged in USB. And all my files are up there. About 40 terabytes of information is uploaded up there. And I'm on the forever plan. And it basically means everything's up there for forever. And they keep a history for a year. And that's continuing on. So it's a year. So tomorrow it'll be a year from tomorrow. Then the next day it'll be a year from that day. So they drop off the changes after a year. But the file's still there. And if I delete it here, I've got a local copy here, and there's a copy in the cloud for a year. But if I've got it here, it's still there in the cloud. And you sit there and go, £5 a month for 35 terabytes of data in the cloud. Thank you very much. I love that. Now,
so you use that as well as your Adobe Creative Cloud.
What happens if I had a fire here? What happens if somebody broke in and took everything? My computers would be covered. My camera equipment will be covered. My books will be covered. But my data is very expensive to cover on insurance. So if somebody came in and took those 2 storage devices that are sitting there, it would take me a little while, but I could recover everything from Backblaze.
Okay.
Now, the personal plan will only allow you to download around about I'm going to say 2 terabytes, but I might be wrong, of data in one chunk. Mr. Wilkinson, would you remember what it was? No, it doesn't. Can't hear you 'cause you're on mute, mate.
I don't remember, but whatever it was wasn't enough.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of images up there, mate. So the restriction with the personal plan is when you have a drive failure and you want to download a chunk of state, there's a limit that you can download. So you have to download it in batches, and that can be frustrating. There is other options that you can send all that drive, that data. You can send it all to what they call their B2B plan and download it in one hit, but that's an additional cost. So you have to do that crossovers. How much time have I got? How much do I want to spend on it? Or do I just want to press the button and pay the £38 and download the whole lot and that's it? And you literally download the whole thing onto the drive, done. So, and they've got a third service where they'll send you an 8 terabyte drive. It's about $200. They'll send you an 8 terabyte drive in the mail.
Blimey.
And as long as you send it back within 30 days, they'll give you your $200 back. And I've done that once. I've used their services due to a drive failure twice in 10, 15 years.
Gosh.
But we have a backup one of these sessions coming up soon. I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll show you my workflow visually, like we've done this evening. Show about backing up your catalog and about backing up your images.
Brilliant. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right, no problem. Has anyone else got any Lightroom Classic questions? Anyone got any problems with there?
Mark, I wonder if I can ask you, I was editing some images yesterday.
Yeah.
And wanted to apply the same changes.
Yeah.
So I clicked on previous, which is what I've done many times before, and it didn't work. And I don't know why. I found workarounds, so I was able to do it, but the previous button didn't actually do what it should have done.
So just so I understand, you've edited an image and you want to apply those settings to other images in that group of images that you've taken.
Just to one, so I wasn't trying to sync necessarily.
Okay. So there's 2 ways of doing it in Classic, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 ways of doing this. You can have what they call active sync turned on. I do not recommend active sync. The reason why is when you do something to one image, it does it to another image or multiple images, and it uses a lot of your resources up. So things start becoming slow. Does work. It's just what computer you got and so on. So what you do is if you want to copy your edits to other images, this is why Classic is a digital asset manager. You go to your grid view in the library, so just hit G, and the edited image, you just click on it, so it becomes an active image. Then you either shift click to the last in the series or control click and select individual images. And down the bottom right hand corner, you'll have sync and sync settings. Sync is syncing your IPTC data, so who took it, the title, the description, your keywords, all that type of thing. Sync settings will give you a pop-up and you start ticking the boxes of the actions or the edits that you wish to apply. You don't have to apply them all down the bottom. This is check none, check all. You can apply them, hit done, and it'll copy all the settings from the active image to the image that you've selected. If you've used AI, so AI masking, it will reanalyze the second image and apply the new AI mask or setting to the new image. Okay, this is why it's a digital asset manager. Now, you could do actions in Photoshop, etc., and so on to get the same conclusion, but it's so much easier in Lightroom.
I mean, that's what I ended up doing. But if you really want to, if you just go to the next to another image, there's at the bottom right-hand corner it says previous rather than sync.
Yeah.
As long as it's the next, you want to apply the same settings to the next image, then you just press that. And I've done that many times and it seems to work. Yeah. And then suddenly it just didn't work. I mean, I was
are you looking in the library module or are you looking in the develop module?
Develop module.
Because you're looking at the image. Try coming off the image and going back on again. So sometimes Classic doesn't render the preview after doing it for some reason. Don't know why. It might be just local bug or whatever. But it should just do it. Okay. I always do mine in the grid view. The reason why I do it in the grid view is you can see the change being applied. It will go, if you're doing, let's say, 10 images, it'll go dum, 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 as the settings are being applied.
Okay.
Have a look in your develop module, open up the history panel and see, and then if you've got the two images in your film strip at the bottom, toggle between the two images, go left, right, left, right, left, right, and have a look at the history panel and see if the history panel changes. If it doesn't change, then they've applied the settings. If it doesn't change, then you haven't applied the settings to the non-active image.
Thank you.
Yeah, so have a look in the history panel. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions?
Yeah. Do you recommend putting the catalogue on a different disk to the files?
Okay, so I think there's two questions there. Your backup, so when you go file backup, you're backing up your catalog. That never, ever goes on the same drive. You could, if it's a fast internal drive or whatever, you could run the backup so it's fast and it's there, but then you immediately move it, and you can move it to a cloud service if you want, Dropbox or anything like that, so it's on another location. The reason why we do that is if that drive fails, you haven't got your backup and your catalog on the same drive. Okay, so the answer to the question is you can put it on an external drive. However, with photography, I always talk about there's always consequences.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to take this nice flowing photograph of water. Well, you need 10-stop neutral density filter. That costs you money. You need a tripod. That costs you money. You've got to carry it. Yeah? And so there's always consequences. And the same with your question here. You can put it on an external drive. I actually have mine on an external drive. The problem that in my legacy workflow that I had was the speed of the drive and the speed of the cable and the speed of the socket that it's connected to.
Yep.
And I've only now this year been really happy with that workflow. And the reason why, I'm Thunderbolt 5. So I have a Mac Mini M4, not even a year old yet. and I have a Thunderbolt 5 4 TB SSD that costs about 600 quid. And my classic catalog is on there with in the preferences is a little tick box. Keep all your local files by your catalog. That's all your plugins, all your presets, all your watermarks, or your web galleries. Keep them by the catalog. Keep and so on. And what that allows me to do as a workflow is I can run Classic on this because I'm taking the catalog and all the associated files with the catalog, all my previews, because I run one-to-one previews and smart previews. They're all by the catalog. I can take the whole thing with me and plug it into this, so I can run Classic on this as well as Classic on here, because once I've finished here, I take Classic, the drive, the catalog, and all the associated, take it out of here and plug it into this machine. So for all intensive purposes, it's the same machine that Classic catalog thinks it is.
Yep.
But the problem is, have you got a fast enough drive?
No.
All right. So, and that's the consequence, that costs some money. So either a Thunderbolt 4 or Thunderbolt 5 drive, yes, that's 6,000 up to 6,000 megabits per second peak performance, and I can't remember, there's a term they call it, where a lot of drives, you'll get the peak performance immediately, and then it'll drop down, thermo heating, and so it will slow down, and then it will get to its comfortable cruise level of speed. Yeah. So, and I think Thunderbolt 5 is 80 gigabits per second, up to 6,000 megabits per second, so 600 gigabits per second, if I think that's right. All right. So it gives you that, and at that speed, making sure that your weakest link, that's either your socket or your cable that connects the drive, is all compatible.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally, it's instantaneous. And it's only till this year I've been comfortable that I'm happy with this. You know, I'll just go and that's it. And the edits are like that and so on, and I can work anywhere. So long story short, Jonathan, sorry.
No. I mean, it's just
But yes, you can do that. But the consequence is it costs a little bit of money to do it. But you know, the Macs this year are Thunderbolt 5 for the Pro chip. You buy a Thunderbolt 5, and that my drive is just, I went because they bought an 8 terabyte. Oh, how much is that? No, I'm not buying an 8 terabyte Thunderbolt 5. And oh, hang on, the 4 terabyte, that's gone up £300 since I bought it. Blooming now. So yeah, you can buy enclosures and buy the Samsung 990 chips, Thunderbolt 5, ASAS or something it's called, AVAS or something, and you just plug the chip in, and that's Thunderbolt 5. That's about £300 to do that, depending on the size of your capacity. I did look at those options, which so here's one of my mobile Thunderbolt 5 storage.
Yeah.
And I have in there, under those white thermal, there's 2 8 terabyte drives there. And this is one of my mobile drives. So I've got 16 terabytes. So when I go to Malta, I've got locally 16 terabytes of storage, plus my 4 terabyte Thunderbolt 5 that I can put everything on. Because I'm there for a month, or traveling, including for a month. That's a hell of a lot of 4K video and so on. And I'm running Classic and everything all off this.
okay.
What make are those drives that you've got inside?
Well, I use OWC.
OWC.
Yeah, other and Jay here's you. They're an American company. Flex International is somewhere you can get them from in the UK, or they're Northern Ireland. Scan is another place you can get them from. OWC, other World Computing. They're Mac specialists, very, very good. I've had no problems with them at all. I've got lots of their bit. I've got docs. I wanted that. I found it very difficult to find one of the at a sensible price. This is an CF and SD card reader in one. This was about £70, I think this was. And what I liked about this, what I really liked, is it's got a little cable permanently attached, and it just little like pigtail, and it just sits in the bottom like that. But if I want a longer cable, it's got a USB-C port at the bottom back, so I can use a longer cable. So I just take a Thunderbolt 5 cable, and I can just plug that in the back and plug it into my laptop and so on. But Thunderbolt 5 cables aren't cheap. But there we go. So I use them. This is ACASIS. And you buy what they call the enclosure. That's the bit that you see. And then you buy the chips. So in here is MVNE2 chips. And there's two 8 terabyte chips there, which are mega expensive. But you can buy 1 terabyte, which are 50 quid. And this is Thunderbolt 4, this one. My OWC is Thunderbolt 5. But I'm just using this for storage. So I've got 16 terabytes on that, and a 4 terabyte drive, and a 1 terabyte drive in my Mac. The reason why I do this is that it all syncs to Backblaze. So it's backed up in the cloud. When I replace my computer, I haven't got to move any data. No data's the only things that are on my computer is the applications. That's it.
Gosh.
All my data is on external devices. So I'm not going to, but I did look out of curiosity. How much is the new Mac Mini M5 coming? It's coming out next week, I think it is. How much is it? Right, I'm not bothering about that. But I was curious. All I do is I unplug the computer, use the same cables. And when I went from my Mac M1, I'm still using the same power cable because it's exactly the same power cable. Because I just unplug it and plug in the new one and then just download the software and away I go. Because everything's on external devices.
The other thing that's good about Adobe is they're cross-platform, but they're also cross-ID.
Yep.
So if you need to change your ID, like to take advantage of a promotion, it's very simple. You just sign in with your new ID and you're up and running exactly as you were before.
Yep.
So that's very nice.
So to underline that, I've got 2 Adobe licenses. I've got my work license, which is a different username, different password, and that's actually an Adobe Creative Cloud license. And it's an academic plan because I'm doing my PhD in photography. This, what you look at here, is my training license, Lightroom Mark. So I don't contaminate my 2 workflows. I didn't want to share my family and my work images with you, with respect. So I have a total different license for my training, which means that I can share the cloud with you because you can only share 1 catalog.
That became important because in the United States, Adobe would not allow an existing ID to take advantage of the promotion.
Yeah.
So you had to have a different ID to do your promotion. And so I had to cancel the first ID and do the promotion on the second ID. But then that didn't interrupt my workflow at all.
Yeah. So all you do with that is you turn off the syncing of all your collections. So you hit the little squiggle, turn off the collections all stay there.
Right.
You sign out of your legacy software. You then sign back in with your new user ID, tick all the syncing boxes, and you're exactly as you were.
And I can confirm I did that and it all went smoothly in about a half an hour kind of thing. It was very easy to do. Now, I don't know if that's true in the UK. The UK may still have the downloadable code, but in America, there's no downloadable code. You actually have to sign in through Amazon, and then Adobe refuses to recognize it. Or if you sign in to Adobe and try to upgrade, it won't let you. You have to have a new ID. So I don't know if that's true in the
It's
UK,
ways that I always say, look at
but
the terms,
right.
conditions, and so on. I'm just trying to help. That's all I'm trying to do.
It may come to the UK this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
But
barrier
you
to
just
the
different
promotion.
email address. But as long as you unsync all your collections, make
That's
sure everything's
critical.
local.
Yeah.
There is a thing
Yeah.
called an Adobe downloader. So you just type into your search engine Adobe Lightroom downloader, and everything that's in your cloud account, it will download to your computer in a folder or wherever you wanted to put it. Download the whole lot, and then you can say goodbye to that account. And as long as you've
Right.
unticked all the sync collections, you log into your new account, taking advantage of the new pricing.
Right.
Right? And if you're a Creative Cloud customer, that can save you £300, £400, £500 a year if you're paying full price.
Right.
Right? I've seen the Creative Cloud at £895, something like that, and I've seen it on Amazon at £300, £299.
Yeah, that's what I did
Yeah.
just this last season. Yeah, and it went very easily.
Yeah. So you just unsync the collections, make sure you've got everything local, and then log into your new account in the Adobe Cloud app, and then there you go.
Yep.
That's a few cups of coffee each week, free of charge. Price of coffee at Costa's going up ridiculously, but there we go. I don't go there anymore.
Yes.
Okay, anyone got any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you very much. Recording, I'll make every endeavor to do it tomorrow, and send you out a link with it on. I'll just end it with telling you that the further you book in advance on Eventbrite, because I've changed the way I used to offer a membership. But because I'm a PhD candidate and because I'm traveling quite a bit over the next few years, and because my teaching commitments and so on, it was very difficult for me, or morally and ethically, I suddenly go, well, you've paid, 300, 400, 500, whatever plan you've gone on these membership things. How do I part refund something that I can't offer? And it was very difficult. So I did this pricing model where the further you book in advance, the cheaper it becomes. So if you book 30 days in advance, these sessions only cost £1.
I noticed that this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So so the closer it gets, the dearer it gets. So if you book on the day, it's £10. But even if you book 24 hours in advance, it's half that price. And if you book it a week in advance, it's half that price. And if you book it 30 days in advance, it's only £1. So I hope Jay doesn't mind. Jay's booked virtue, and so's Mr. Weeks is booked for the whole year. And yeah, just several months. So you just go through booking it, boom, and if you can't, if I haven't sent the Zoom link, just apply, and you can't attend. And if you want your £1 back, just hit apply for a refund.
How long does the link last for?
Sorry,
How long does the link last for?
for what?
The Zoom link. If you
Zoom link. Well,
recording.
Eventbrite will send out the Zoom link at 12 noon on the day, and then we'll send out the again about half an hour beforehand.
I didn't mean that. Sorry. I mean, when you send recording, how long does that last for?
Depends how lazy I am.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So,
Can I ask David or Jay, if you've done it for a long period ahead, have you done every week individually? Because I thought I was going to die after I'd entered a few. I got fed up with it and stopped.
Right, I've just
I
decided I'll do it a month in advance. So I had the same thing with you. I said, this is boring and repetitive. So I stopped, I think like 3 months in, and then I'll do it like a month ahead is my plan.
Okay, gentlemen. This is another. I've told. Well, now you know one reason why I stopped the membership.
Yes.
There was 26 members, okay, for last year, and what you were doing, I was doing 26 times for every single member for every single week.
But what a
So you
privilege
got
it was.
bored of doing 4 of typing in your name and email address 4 times for a month. I was doing it 26 times every single week.
Bummer.
He was earning his money.
I was earning my money.
Your pound.
Yeah, my pound. Yeah. So now it's I sat there and I analysed it and I said, um, how firstly it was the fact that academics, with respect to my colleagues, academics are great at organising. Because I'm on campus. Oh, Mark, this afternoon, could you take that module, please? Oh, brilliant! Right? When did you know John wasn't going to be in this afternoon? Oh, we've known for 6 weeks. Well, why didn't you tell me 6 weeks ago? Could it be there might be a possibility John's not going to be in? Could you, because he's on a field trip? Could you just pencil in your diary to do it? And then I could. But if you've paid me 500 quid for a year's support and a year of these, how do I part refund that I can't do that session tonight? Very, very messy. So I sat there, and even with all the technology I've got, we last year we did a lot in France and so on where I was away, and I've got mobile routers, etc., and so on. I've asked myself and tested myself all these questions. And that was the only thing I could come up. I can turn around and say, I'm terribly sorry. Bath University has asked me to do this at last minute. I can't do tonight. Boom, I've refunded everybody. And that was the only morally right way I could do it. So there you go, Mr. Weeks. 26 members every single week. I was doing what you were doing just once.
I did it over a few sessions. I didn't do it all in one go.
Okay, I know you've done quite a few.
Yeah.
So, but as long as you're doing, you could do it once a week. Put a diary event, a task event in your diary, where you use Google Diary, register for something 30, and you just do 30 weeks, 30 days ahead. You just do it once a week. It's all you've got to do to get it for £1. So you just put a repeat reminder in your task manager or your calendar or whatever, must register for in 30 days time for this event. You just do one a week. You just type in your name and your email address. That's it.
I'm convinced.
So I'm just trying to be morally and ethically right, and just let you know. So and then say if you can't make it and you want your refund, as long as the 12 o'clock email hasn't gone out, it'll automatically refund it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just book it in there. Your pound, it'll automatically be refunded. Right then. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I hope it's been of help for you. Next week we're looking at Lightroom. There's a lot more functionality because Lightroom was built up from day one to work in the cloud. Classic wasn't. Okay. So, and then I'll show you the week after cloud and how all three all link together. Thank you for your time. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you
That's
very
great.
much.
Happy editing.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.